morning, students. Today I am going to discuss one new chapter, chapter number 4, and the title of that chapter is Albert Einstein at School. Okay, so this is the chapter number, and the title of this chapter is Patrick Pringle. So now let's talk about the introduction of the story, that what the lesson is about. This lesson or this extract is taken from the biography of Albert Einstein, which is named under the title, that is the Young Einstein, which is written by Patrick Pringle. Now, in this chapter, the writer Patrick was talking about those years in Einstein's life where he was struggling each day in school, and as each day passed, the school diploma felt like a fear-fetched dream. It also throws light upon a few encounters with his teachers, what he felt about the neighborhood he lived in, and how he had only one good friend and whose name is Yuri. And the way Albert Einstein strategized to get out of this miserable place. And which is the miserable place? For him, the school is a miserable place, and how things turn around in the end and makes the story even more interesting. So let's start line by line explanation. So Albert Einstein was born in 1879 and he was died in 1955. Is regarded as the youngest physicist since Newton. Okay. In the following extracts, I told you it is taken from the biography Young Einstein, which is written by Patrick Pringle, which describing about the Albert Einstein's impulsion. Impulsion is the acting of forcing someone to leave an organization from a German school. So the impulsion was given to Einstein to go in a German school. Okay, so what are the stories? Let's start line by line explanation. In what year, Einstein asked the history teacher, did the Persian defeat the French and Waterford? Here the Einstein was asking a question to the history teacher that in which year the Persian defeated the French at Waterloo. I don't know, sir. Then the Einstein said that I don't know. Why don't you know? You have been told it often enough. I must have forgotten. Now teacher is saying that I have told you many times, and how did you forget it? And the Einstein said, I must have forgotten. Did you ever try to learn? Asked Mr. Barun. Barun is a history teacher, and he said that did you try to learn or try to remember? Albert says, no, sir. Libright with his usual unthinking honesty. Now with his unthinking honesty, with honesty, he says that no. And the teacher is saying, why not? Okay, this conversation happens with our parents also. When the parents are asking something and we are thinking honestly by giving the answer that no, no mama, no dada. Even teacher is also asking that why did you remember? Why didn't you not remember? So that time also we are giving the same answer. I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book. Now, it is very easy that the teacher is saying that whenever you open a book, it is very easy to learn the dates. Mr. Brun was speechless for a few moments, and it is really very shocking for a teacher, and he was speechless. You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last, and he said that you amazed me. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books that applies to all the facts you learn at school? Now, this is necessary that whenever we are reading a history book, that the dates and the time are very important. And whenever you are look up in a books of history, that to remembering facts is a necessary thing. And Einstein said, yes, sir. Yeah, I agree it, but I have forgotten. Okay. Then I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts. Then I think that you don't remember any learning facts. Frankly, sir, I don't, Albert said. And frankly, Albert replied, yes, I don't know any learning facts. Then you don't believe in education at all? And then teacher is again asking you, then you are not believing in an education. Oh yes sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education. And he said that learning history's fact is not education according to me, and he agreed with that. In that case, said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm, perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein theory of education. Now, in sarcasm or in sarcastic way, the history teacher told Einstein that what is your Einstein theory of education? Tell the class. Albert flushed. Now he was flushed. I think it is not facts that matter, but ideas, he said. And that time he said that facts is not important. The ideas are very important. I don't see the points in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed one more man. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other. Now, this is very, very interesting facts or thinking of Albert. We can see here that Albert is saying that I am not interested in learning the dates, and really I am also at the side of Albert, because whenever I was in a history class, it was really meaningless that when we are remembering that dates. Now you just remember that I was taking too much time and in history period or history subject, because that is so lengthy to remember all the words and names and dates. And right now, if you are thinking that is it important in our life right now, no, that is just cramming or remembering or wasting of time, like Albert Einstein. Rather than it is more interested to learn that why the soldiers are killing to each other. It is really very interesting. That's enough. And now you can see that now in 2020, people, those who are having the structure of education, now they come to know that these things are not important. And in 2021, that they have started a new education policy, and I hope it will work and we will get the benefit of this new education system. And I really like this new education system, that there will be no streams, there will be no discrimination between the science students, commerce students, and art students. Everyone is equal. If you have this type of ideas and strength, then you can go anywhere. If you are doing science, you can also learn literature. If you are doing literature, you can also have science in your class. So this is that our education system right now, this is limited, but now the new education system is very good. That's enough. Mrs. Bruno's eyes were sorry, Mrs. Brown's eyes were cold and cruel. We don't want a lecture from you. And he said that I don't. Now you just imagine yourself in this class, in a history class, and the teacher is asking you what is your theory of education, and in sarcasm. And again you are giving the education system that this is what theory I am thinking about education. And that time you can see the teacher's eyes, that how he was. And he said that I don't want the lecture from you, Einstein. We'll stay in for an extra period today. We'll have an extra period for this. Although I don't imagine it will do you much good. I won't do the school any good either. You are disgrace. I don't know why you continue to come. Now he said that let's have another extra lecture in which you can give your lecture or your knowledge or your ideas. And I don't think that the school need your ideas. Okay. And I don't know why you are coming here to Einstein. It's not my wish, sir, Albert pointed out. And he said that, yes, I don't want to come, but this is not my wish. Then you are an ungrateful boy and ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggest you ask your father to take you away. Now he said that you have to ashamed of yourself, because you have to tell your father that take you away from the school. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. Now you just imagine this one type of this incident gave one mental disturbance, or you say miserable condition of the Albert that afternoon. Not that it had been a bad day. Most days were bad now, anyways. But because he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning. Now, It is not think that every day was the same day for him, bad days only. But today he was miserable because for next morning he will go with a hateful place. He only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. This he wished. Einstein was wishing that his father would check out his admission, but this is just in a vain. He knew that what the answer would be, and he was knowing that if he'll say that I don't want to go in a school, and that was the same answer he will get it, he would have to stay until he had taken his diploma. And he said that you have to stay in a school until you get the degree, until you get a certificate of diploma. Going back to his lodging did not cheer him up. Lodging means temporary accommodation or lodging, right? Or a room rented out of someone cheer him up. His father has so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters in of Munich. Now his financial condition was not good, so he got one PG room in quarter of Munich. He did not mind the bad food, lack of comfort, or even the dirt and squalor, but he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. And he was living in a slum, and he don't mind that he didn't get the food and the comforts, dirt and that, but he hated the slum violence. Now you understand how is the situation and the activities were going on in a slum area. His landlady beat her children regularly, and every Saturday her husband came, drank, and beat her. So now you just imagine how the atmosphere and mentally disturbed this Einstein was. But at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called round in the evening. Now Yuri is his friend, and he said that at least you have one room in which you can say this is mine. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. Now, the students are also civilized, though they are very poor. They are not all civilized, Yuri replied. Did you not hear that one of them was killed last week in the duel? Duel means a contest with deadly weapon arranged between two people in order to settle a point of honor. Now, he is saying that, Yuri is saying that, why are you saying that civilized? You didn't see that they were killing each other last week in duel. And what happens to the one who killed him? And what happened to that person? In fact, because in the law, if any person killed anyone, that it has to be called police, and he will be in a jail. But nothing happened. Nothing opposed. It is even proud of it. Even they are prouding themselves that he killed that other man. His only worry is that the authorities have told him not to fight any more viewers. Only the authorities came and he said that no, don't fight other one. He's upset about this because he hasn't a single scar on his face to wear for the rest of his life as a badge of honor, and was very upset with this incident that even nobody is talking about that what he had done, not even a single scar on his face. Oh, exclaimed Albert. And these are the students. Well, you will be a student one day, said Yuri. And you will be also become one day a student, said Yuri. I doubt it, said Albert glumly. I don't think I will ever pass the exam for the school diploma. So now he is not interested in the school, and he said that maybe I am not going to pass this diploma and I am not will be the student. He told his cousin Elsa the same next time she came to Munich. Normally, she lived in Berlin, where her father had a business. Now, his sister Elsa is living with his father at Berlin, and she came to Munich, and he also told him that I am not going to pass this diploma exam. I'm sure you could learn enough to pass the exam. And Albert, if you tried, she said, but she said that you try at least a passing mark so that you can pass this exam. She said, I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you who get through. They say you don't have to know anything. You don't have to understand what you have taught. Just be able to repeat it in the exam. Now you just imagine how she is telling him that how to pass the exam. You just whatever you read, repeat it in the exam, and there is no need to understand. There is no need to taught. Okay, you just read and repeat it in the exam. That's what his sister is telling him. That's the whole trouble, said Albert. I am no good at learning things by heart. Now, some students are very good in by heart. By heart means cramming or remembering the way it is in the page. Now, they are very good in cramming. For example, you can take the example of Three Idiots, in which that is the that I forgot the name who took the first that is the rancho जे चल चढ़दास मास्टर rancho का जो फ्रेट है फर्स्ट नंबर आता है so he always doing by heart now whenever anyone is asking the definition he is ready to give the answer the same which is in the book so he is Einstein said that I am not good in learning things by heart you don't need to be good at anyone can learn like a parrot na पैरट इज जस्ट लाइक अ पैरट आप अगर पोपट पैरट जैसा बोलते हो ना whatever you speak he will repeat you don't try yet I always see you with a book under your arm added Elsa and I can see that you are always with your book and which is under your arm what is the one you are reading and he said that, what are you reading every time a book on geology I would just say that I am reading the book geology geology rocks and things. Do you learn that? Now, the geology means what? Rocks and things. No, we have hardly any science at school. Now, we don't have any science at school. Then why are you studying it? Then if it is not in school, then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? But as Einstein said, there is no science at school, but I like that's why I'm reading. It's not a good enough reason. Elsa sighed. You are right, of course, Albert, she said. But it won't help with your diploma. But if you are ready, but it is not going to help you to pass the diploma. Apart from books on science, his only comfort was music. He played his violin regularly until his landlady asked him to stop. And he's also interested in music and he was playing violin. And sometimes his landlady asked him to stop because she was very much irritated by that. That wailing means crying with pain or anger, gets on my nerves, she said. There's enough noise in this house with all the kids howling. Now, there are other kids are also they are also howling or shouting and screaming, and your wailing gets the musical tone sound is also really I know, and it is really irritating. Albert was tempted to point out that most of the time it was she who made them howl. Howling means howling sound means screaming. So now Albert says that this is not the kids, but the landlady is the reason that tempted them to make the sound. But he decided it was better to say nothing. But they are not saying anything, and he stayed there. I must get away from here, he told Yuri. After 6 months alone in Munich, now he said now he is very much irritated by this place and he said I am going to leave this very soon. It is absurd that I should go on like this. In the end, it will turn out I have been wasting my father's money and everyone's time. I'll be better for all if I stop now. And he said that I'm going to leave this because it is just a wasting of my father's money and it is better to stop now to waste rather than to waste the father's money. And then what will you do? Yuri asked. Then what will you do? I don't know. If I go to Milan, I am afraid my father will send me back unless. And I said that if I'll go with my father, he will send me back. His eyes gleamed with a sudden idea. Yuri, do you know any friendly doctors? And he said that, do you know any friend doctor? I know a lot of medical students and some of them are friendly, said Yuri. Doctor, no. I had never had enough money to go to one. Why? And he said that I don't have money to go there. Suppose, said Albert, that I had a nervous breakdown. Suppose a doctor would say it is bad for me to go to school and I need to get right away from it. Now he said that if I'll get a doctor and if he'll say that my nose is breakdown and it is bad for him to go to school, then I'll need to get right away from it. I can't imagine a doctor saying like that, said Yuri. Now there is no one doctor that who said like, I must try, said Albert, to find a doctor who specializes in nerves. Nerves का जो specialist है उसको I will find it out. There are plenty of them, Yuri told him. He hesitated for a moment and then added, rather reluctantly, I will ask some of the students if they know one, if you like. And if you don't mind, then I ask other students that if they know any doctor specialist. Will you? Oh, thank you, Yuri. Albert's eyes were shining. Wait a moment, I haven't found one yet. Now they are searching for that doctor, and he said that Yuri said, "I oh, but you will find. Don't worry." And if I do, I don't know if he will be willing to help you. And if I found any doctor and I am not sure that he will help it out, he will, declare Albert. And Albert said, yes, he will definitely help us. I'm going to have a real nervous breakdown to make it easier for him. He laughed merely and he said that I'm going to have a real nervous breakdown and by checking me, he definitely tell me. I will never seen you looking less nervous, remarked Yuri. A day or two at school will soon put that right, Albert assured him. Right now he is ready for real nervous breakdown. Certainly he had lost his high spirit when Yuri saw him next. I can't stand it any longer, he said. I really shall have a nervous breakdown that will satisfy any doctor. Now, one day he came to Yuri and said that I am unable to stand any longer because my nose is breakdown and maybe the doctor will satisfy with this. Keep it up then, said Yuri. I have found a doctor for you. And Yuri said that I have found one. Albert's face light up. Oh God, when can I see him? When I can go and meet him? I have an appointment for you for tomorrow evening, Yuri said. And here's the address. Now he gave an address. He handed Albert a piece of paper. So that is one address is written Dr. Ernest Well. He is a specialist in nervous troubles and asked Albert. So this is the address that is given by the Yuri. Not exactly, Yuri admitted. As a matter of the fact, he only qualified as a doctor last week. You may even be his first patient. Now you just even he is a recently passed out doctor and maybe Albert is a first patient for him. You knew him as a student then. Now because I knew him as he was a student with us. I have known Ernest for years. Yuri hesitated for a few moments. He's not a fool, he warned Albert and he gave the name and Ernest and he's not a fool. What do you mean? Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. That's all. Be frank with him. Now, if Yuri saying that if you are thinking that the doctor Ernst is a fool, so don't think that. Please be careful and be frank with him. But don't pretend you got what you haven't, and don't pretend that whatever you didn't have. Not that you will deceive anyone. Now you are not going to deceive the doctor. Yuri added. You are the world worst liar, and you are says that you are the worst liar in this because you are unable to say lie. Albert spent the next day wondering what to tell the doctor. Now he was deciding how to meet and what to tell the doctor. When the time arrived for his appointment, he had worried over it so much that quite he really was quite nervous. And that time he was very nervous to meet the doctor. I don't really know how to describe my trouble, Dr. Whale, he began. Now, Einstein said that I don't know how to describe my pain. Don't try, said the young doctor with a friendly smile. Yuri had already given me the history of the case. Now, you don't try to pretend anything. I know the history. Oh, what did he say? Now, Einstein says, what did he say? Only that you want me to think you have had a nervous breakdown and say that you mustn't go back to that school. Okay, so the means Yuri said everything to the doctor. Oh dear, Albert's face fell, and now because he was thinking from whole night that what to say, how to say, right? So his face fell down. He shouldn't have told you that. Why not? Isn't it true that? And Albert says that why did he tell you that he shouldn't? And the doctor said that why not? Isn't it true that this is not true that you are just imitating that you have a nervous breakdown? Yes, that's the trouble. Now you will say there is nothing wrong with me. You tell me to go back to school. And that is the problem that you don't know that now I don't have anything and will suggest me to go to school. Don't be too sure of that, said the doctor. And doctor said, don't be sure. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you are in a nervous state about that school. And don't say that I'm pretty sure that right now you are very nervous to go to the school. But I haven't told you anything about it, said Albert, wide-eyed. How can you know that? But the doctor said, oh, sorry, Albert said that I didn't say anything. That how can you say that I have a nervous state? Because you wouldn't have come to see me about this if you hadn't been pretty close to a nervous breakdown. That's why. Because if you don't have nervous breakdown, then you have never come to me, and you have pretty close. You are very close to the nervous breakdown. That's why you come here. Now, said the doctor briskly, if I certify that you have had a nervous breakdown and must stay away from school for a while, what will you do? Now, if I'll give you this certificate, now what will you do at home? I'll go to Italy, said Albert, to Milan, where my parents are, and he would like to go to Milan with his parents. And what will you do there? And doctor says that what will you do? I will try to get into an Italian college or institute. I'll attend and I'll attend an Italian college. How can you without a diploma? If you don't have a diploma certificate, then how can you go in a degree college? I'll ask my mathematics teacher to give me something about my work. Perhaps that will be enough. And I'll get something from my mathematics teacher that will be eligible for the college admission. I have learned all the maths they teach at school and a bit more. He added when doctor looked doubtful. Now he said that I know everything and little more also about math. Well, it's up to you, he said. I doubt if it will come off, but I can see you are not doing yourself or anyone else much good by staying here. Now it is better to go here because you are not doing anything by staying here. How long would you like me to say you should stay away from school? Would 6 months be all right? Now said that how much time I can write in a letter, 6 months or more. Then this is very kind of you. And Albert says very kind of. It's nothing. I have only just stopped being a student myself, so I know how you feel. Here you are. Now he said that I understand. Dr. Whale handed him the certificate and the best of luck. How much? Now the doctor Albert says that how much money I can, and he said nothing. If you have anything to spare, invite Yuri to a meal. He is a good friend of mine and yours too, I think. So I don't want anything. You just invite Yuri for a meal, and because he is my friend and your friend also. Albert had no money to spare, but he pretended he had and took Yuri out to supper. Now he didn't have they are very poor from a poor family, but he pretended. Isn't it wonderful? He said after showing Yuri the certificate. Yes, it's a fine, Yuri agreed. Now they have a that certificate and it said it's a wonderful. 6 months is a good period. This way you won't actually be leaving the school. So if the worst come to the worst, you'll be able to come back and carry on for your diploma. And now Yuri said that you go for a 6 month and if it is not going to work, it's worse than worse, then you can come back and carry on your diploma. I will never go back to that place. I'll never come to this place, Albert assured him. I'm going to take this certificate to the head teacher tomorrow, and that will be end of it. And tomorrow I am going to take this certificate, and this is the end. Okay. Now next, don't forget to get a reference in writing from your mathematics teacher first. Yuri reminded him. So please don't forget to take the certificate reference letter from mathematics. Mr. Coach willingly gave Albert the reference he wanted, and Mr. Coach, who is the mathematics master, teacher, he also gave a reference letter. If I say I can't teach you anymore, and probably you will soon be able to teach me, will that be all right? He asked. So, if I say I can teach you anymore, probably you will soon be able to teach me. So Einstein was very expert that probably one day you are going to teach me. That's saying to too much, sir. And Albert says, sir, you are saying too much to me. Okay, it's only the truth, but all right. Now the teacher says that it's the truth that you are very good in English. Sorry, you are good in maths. I put it more seriously. It was still a glowing reference, and Mr. Bose made the point that Albert was ready immediately to enter a college or institute for the study of higher mathematics. And he would like to go in a higher studies of mathematics, and he is ready. I'm sorry you are leaving us, although you are wasting your time in my class, he said. And he said that I'm really very sorry that you are leaving college, school. It's most the only class where I am not wasting my time, said Albert. And Albert says that this is the only class where I am thinking that I am not wasting my time. Even other class about history and other subjects, I think that I was wasting. But how did you know I'm leaving, sir? And he said, how did you know? You wouldn't have asked me for this reference otherwise. I thought you would wonder. Now he said, how did you know about my leaving? There is nothing to wonder about, Einstein. I knew you were going to leave before you knew yourself. Now he said that there is no wonder because I was knowing that you are someone else, extraordinary person, and even you are going to leave before you knew yourself. Albert was puzzled. What did the teacher mean? And he said that what the teacher is talking about. He soon found out. Before he had a chance to ask for an interview with the head teacher, he was summoned to the head's room. Now he was asked to have a talk with the head's room. Well, it saves me the trouble of having to wait an hour or two outside. He thought because for a meeting to meet a head, you have to take an hour and 2 hours outside. But he get a chance to meet him. He hardly bothered to wonder why he had been sent for, but vaguely supposed he was to be punished again for bad work and laziness. And he was very surprised that why they are asking me for the interview, maybe because they are going to punish me because of my laziness and bad work. Well, he had finished with punishment, and now he had so many punishments, and has finished with it. I'm not going to punish you, the head teacher said, and the teacher said, I am not going to punish you, to Albert's surprise. Your work is terrible, and your work is terrible. I am not prepared to have you here any longer, and I am not prepared here to have you here any longer. I want you to leave the school now, and says that you have to leave the school right now. Leave school now, repeated Almond, days, because he wanted to leave for 6 months, but the headmaster says that you have to leave the school. That's what I said. And said, leave? I don't understand. You mean say that I am to be expelled? Expelled means officially make someone leave a school or any organization. Now you are going to expelled from the school. You can take it that way if you wish, Einstein. And he said that if you want to take this way, then you can take. The head teacher was not mincing word to speak vaguely. The head teacher was not mincing word. Mincing means to speak vaguely or indirectly. The simplest thing will be for you to go off your own accord, then the question won't arise. Now you just go, the teacher said that the simplest thing is that you just go the way you want to. But said Albert, what crime I have committed? And he said that what I have did. Your presence in the classroom makes it impossible for the teacher to teach and for the other pupils to learn. Now, this is the reason that whenever you are in the class, the teacher are unable to teach and the pupils are unable to learn. You refuse to learn. You are in constant rebellion. And whenever the teacher is coming and asking anything, you are in a rebellion. Rebellion means rebel means you have to go in against the action or processing of resisting authority. You go in against of the teacher, and no serious work can be done while you are there. And because of that, no serious work can be done by the students and the teachers. Albert felt the medical certificate almost burning a hole in his pocket. Now you just imagine that whatever the preparation he has done is just a burn. I was going to leave anyway, he said, and I am also going to leave the school also. Then we are in agreement at least. And Einstein, the head, said that then we must agree with your leave. For a moment, Albert was tempted to tell the man what he thought of him and of his school. Then he stopped himself. Now that this time Albert was like to said about what is your school and what the teachers are, but he stopped himself. Without another word, holding his head high, he stalked out. Stalk means to leave in a halfly or stiff or threatening manner. Now he left the school. Shut the door after you, shouted the head. I said that shut the door. Albert ignored him. He walked straight on out of the school where he had spent 5 miserable years. 5 miserable years he has spent here without turning his head to give it a last look. He could not think of anyone he wanted to say goodbye. There is no one to say goodbye. Indeed, Yuri was almost the only person in Munich he felt like seeing before. And there is only one person, Yuri, his friend, that would like to meet after this. Before he left the town, he had come to hate almost as much as the school. Now he was hating as much as he can. Elsa was back in Berlin and he had no other real friends. And Elsa was also came back to Berlin and that Einstein didn't have any real friends. Goodbye and good luck, said Yuri when he left. And Yuri said goodbye. You are going to a wonderful country, I think. I hope you will be happier there. And he said that you are going in a wonderful country at Italy, and I hope you will be happier there. So it's a really interesting story that, and we learn so many things from this. Interesting things and so many important ideas that we can come to know about the history from the Albert and how intelligent he is and how he was facing the problems in a school and how he was very expert in the mathematics and uh, how the other teacher was treating him and how he was giving the slum area and how he was staying there and what are the situations he had faced. So this is really very two concepts, very different concepts of story, and that he is unable to learn from the history dates, and he was very much expert in a math. So this is two poles apart, and he was very enthusiastic in science and mathematics, while on the other he had trouble keeping up the history dates. So, so this is really very interesting, and we have to learn it from them.